Hello and welcome to the Comic Schtick Podcast, the podcast where comics are my shtick. My name is Blake T. Wild. You may also know me as Smokey's Videos. And on this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about a little bit of comics, Miss Marvel, and a lot of new movie announcements, a lot of the comic book movie announcements. And if I get time to it, Jurassic Park. Well, this says Jurassic World, but I like this shirt better just because I like the tropical white design that it has. I do have a Jurassic Park shirt. I have a couple of them, but most of them are like black or charcoal colors, dark grays and whatnot. I don't know, I just like how this one looks better. So yeah, that's the topic of discussion. If you couldn't already tell from the title of this podcast episode or the time codes in the description below, which are always there. But before we get started, of course, I gotta talk about Destructo Boy, the Era of Alpha Cardinal, Part 1 of 2. Oh man, excuse me, I'm very tired. I actually just woke up from a nap because I'm very tired. Where am I at? Destructo Boy, Era of Alpha Cardinal, Part 1 of 2 is on sale now at etsy.com/shop/Blake T. Wild. Make sure you capitalize the B, T, and W. Physical copies are $9.99. Digital copies are $5. Physical copies, they come like this, so you can look at it with your hands and your eyes. It also includes a autograph by yours truly, and a free head sketch of any character of your choosing. That's right. You can write down any character you want. It can be the Wolfman, it can be Deadpool, it can be Inuyasha, and I will draw him, or I will draw that character, and I will stick it in this book in a little slip of paper, and I will send it to you personally. So check that out, etsy.com/shop/Blake T. Wild, and buy it now before it's gone. I don't know if I'm going to be reprinting these or how I'm going to be doing that, but the second issue will be coming soon, and that is because excuse me again, I've been talking about this recently, but I've just been trying, and I was hired to, work on a comic book project, which was to illustrate, so pencil and ink, color and letter a comic book script. I also did all the layouts for every page, so I had to figure that out as well. I got hired on to work on a comic book script and for this independent little story. So I've been working on that for a while. And I've been working a lot recently, so I've been pretty tired. I am still working towards getting what is Crisis on Infinite Earths done, but that's taken a little bit of a back seat because I am getting paid to work on this man's comic, work on the comic project. So I don't really get paid for this or for the YouTube channel that much. I get I get a paycheck from Google AdSense every month, but that's about it. So that's why I haven't released a What Is video recently. And also, Crisis on Infinite Earths is really fucking long. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to, cover that as I'm writing the script itself. So that's where that is. It is coming. I am almost done coloring this book, and lettering is pretty easy. So, it's not easy, I shouldn't say. It's a quicker stage than coloring or drawing a comic, at least for me. So that is why I haven't released a new video of a normal What Is video. I'm sort of rambling. I don't really know what I'm talking about, and I'm yawning again. I hope I'm not making you yawn. All right, so let's get on to the first topic of this week, and that is just touch on this quickly. Tim Sales passing away. He unfortunately died at the age of 66, which is still pretty young in this day and age. I don't know if there was ever announced what the cause was. It was just announced a week or and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, that he was admitted to a hospital. And then a couple days later, they announced his death. So that is yet another tragic loss in the comic book scene. This year, there was like 3 people who died like a month or 2 ago, around the same time. And now Tim Sale's passed away, which is a bummer. It's a big bummer. A legend of his work. I only met him once at a convention, and I didn't interact with him very much. He didn't interact with me, so I don't know. I don't have that many, Tim Sale related experiences to provide you. Loved his art. Love his Joker design from Long Halloween and Dark Victory. Here comes another yawn. So yeah, rest in peace, Tim Sale. I don't know if he was I don't know what his most previous project was, or what he really worked on that recent. It might have just been doing like covers and stuff, because I saw he did do a cover for, I believe, Batman and Superman World's Finest. So, I feel like this was building up. It just wasn't building up publicly, that he was, cutting back on what he was able to do. So that is just very unfortunate. Rest in peace. Moving on to comic book stuff. The first comic that I read this past week is Amazing Spider-Man number 3. It is a lot more enjoyable than the first 2 were, I found. This is by Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. It's the new series that's coming out. So I finally got that in the post. Like I said, I enjoyed it far more than I did of the first 2. I do know, or I don't know, I just feel after reading these 3 issues that the coloring doesn't work for John Romita Jr.'s art. It's that modern coloring where everything's sort of on a gradient a little bit, and it's not like it was in the late 90s, early 2000s, thank God. But I feel like a flat coloring would work a lot better on John Romita Jr.'s art style. And I think that, I don't know, I feel like that's one of a big issue that people might have, that, some people might not be aware of. Like, well, why does that look so off? People already hate John Romita Jr.'s art style. I don't. I think it's great. I just don't think that the coloring works. It's like it's like Frank Miller's Dark Knight Strikes Again. That coloring is insane. A lot of people hate it. I think it's pretty good. But when you see it recolored in just like the flat colors without all the digital effects and digital shading and whatnot added to it, it looks a lot better. There was this Tumblr blog maybe from years ago that recolored a bunch of Frank Miller stuff, and it looks great. It looks a lot better than the normal version does. So I feel like that might apply to John Romita Jr.'s art as well. Speaking of John Romita Jr.'s art, this issue is kind of slow. It's just a lot of talking and exposition. It's between Tombstone and the kidnapped Spider-Man. He's just telling him things, and then we cut back and forth between Mary Jane's new boyfriend or husband or something, and Randy Robertson and his girlfriend, who happens to be Tombstone's daughter, the Beetle. But the scene with Randy and his girlfriend, because I can't remember her actual name, it's like a Talking Heads page, which, if you don't know what that is, it's boom, boom, boom. That's the panel. It's from the collar, shoulders up, from the neck up, essentially, and it's just the character looking at the camera, speaking to the other character. It's like a newscatcher, like a talking head. Brian Michael Bendis likes to use that a lot in his books. Tom King, you might recognize most from Heroes in Crisis. That has a lot of talking heads. But something you'll notice a lot in modern comics is that when pages like that happen, it's usually they just reuse the panels. It'll be the exact same panel with the exact same character in the exact same position. And it's just, all that changes is the dialogue bubbles or balloons. But not here. Every panel, John Romita Jr. draws the characters like with a different like expression. Like even if they're still looking directly dead on with the camera, he'll still like raise an eyebrow or like change their facial expression or have it zoom in just slightly. And that is just so fantastic that and the layout of it's, let's see, it might be like a 9-panel page. It's 3 little panels, 1 panel here, a thicker panel, or like a wider panel in the middle, and then another panel on this side, and then maybe 2 or 3 on the bottom. But like I said, each one of those has the characters doing something different, even though they're just looking at the camera. Like they might turn and look away, they might like look down, like just have a feeling, like you can tell that they're saying things and feeling something. It doesn't just look like a still photograph like a lot of talking head pages are. What else? Oh yeah, so the Tombstone storyline. So at the end of issue 2, Tombstone kidnaps Spider-Man because Spider-Man pissed him off when he fucked it with a weapons deal. And so now Tombstone takes Spider-Man and chains him up with like spider manacles or something that Spider-Man is just unable to get out of for some reason. They never explain what these cuffs and chains are made out of. I'd have to guess adamantium, since Spider-Man can't break it. So he takes him down to this abandoned subway tunnel, and he just, like, fucks him up. Tombstone beats the shit out of Spider-Man some more, and tells him Tombstone's backstory. And it's really cool, because Tombstone is telling Spider-Man that, like, oh yeah, you think you're so fucking good because you take down the bad guys, but I want to talk to you about lions, Spider-Man. Lions eat and kill other animals to survive, but if they eat a person, then there's nobody ever says, oh, that's a bad lion. They say, why the fuck did that person go over there by those hungry lions and get eaten? Nobody ever blames the lion. But when it comes to people doing stuff, everybody has to say, oh, he's the bad guy. He's the good guy. People make this ridiculous distinction, even though we're the same as some fucking lions. So that's his point, essentially, is that Spider-Man thinks he's so high and mighty because he's the quote-unquote good guy, and Tombstone is the bad guy, even though he is. But nobody ever bothers to, see what made the animal the way it is. And then we get a Tombstone backstory. And that is that Tombstone was this little albino kid growing up in New York who was constantly bullied and was too scared to speak. And so one day, he decided to file down his teeth. And when he was getting bullied and the kids were like, oh, why don't you say something, Lonnie, and we'll stop. He like whispers something and they can't hear him, so they're, what'd you say? And then when they get close, he fucking bites them with his sharp-ass teeth. And yeah, it was an interesting little, tale, seeing Tombstone sort of reign supreme over this issue. And then we learned that Tombstone is having his gang pose as Rose's gang, Rose being the Kingpin's son. And he's going to have them dress up like his gang members and go shoot up a street. Like, just drive down the street and fucking shoot people. So that way, when the superheroes show up to stop it, they will blame the Rose and go after him, and then the Rose will be out of Tombstone's hair, if he had any. And also, Tombstone wants to kill Randy for quote-unquote taking his daughter, which is weird, and I don't like that aspect of it. Yeah, that's just dumb. Yeah, I don't really give a shit about that. I don't care about Randy Robertson. I don't like the whole, oh, you're taking my daughter from me. Like, that's weird. I'm saying a lot just because I sort of ran out of talking points for this issue. But yeah, it is a fun story, or it's a fun issue. I don't know what's going to happen next. Like I've said before, I have 3 more issues of this to go that I have for sure, or that I will for sure get, that I have pre-ordered. I've pre-ordered issue 6. So after that, we'll see. We'll see what happens. If I keep going with this series, or if I just sort of just completely lose interest like I have for a lot of comics that have come out recently, or I'll wait for the trade. Yeah, it's like, this is a more entertaining story. It's not held down by any of Zeb Wells's bullshit. Oh, this happened 6 months ago. What happened 6 months ago? Let's find out. But you won't find out until issue 47 or whatever. This is just Spider-Man interacting with Tombstone with a little bit of drama. We still got to have that dumb new character that's been introduced that's in a relationship with Mary Jane, so who gives a shit about that? But this was an entertaining story. I look forward to seeing Spider-Man beating the shit out of some guys who are going to shoot up a street or something. See how he escapes from these manacles, the chains and cuffs. But I don't think it'll be any worse than that time that a fucking, like, a bunch of pipes and a whole building landed on him and he lifted that up. So if he can do that, I'm sure he's going to get out of these cuffs. He can break these cuffs. Anybody remember that? And now the next comic that I read is Multiversity Teen Justice. So Multiversity Teen Justice is, in essence, a gender-swapped Teen Titans. And instead of Teen Titans, they go by Teen Justice. They are all sidekicks from Earth 11. And instead of the Justice League, they're called the Justice Guild. It's, you know, Batwoman, Aquawoman, Superwoman. There's Zatanna man version who's like Zatara, maybe. I think it just might be Zatara. Wondrous Man. Who else is in that? It might be a cyborg character. I don't think so, though. I can't remember who else there is. I never read their initial appearance, but thankfully, what DC did in this very nicely printed issue, that's another thing that I wanted to talk about, is that all the DC comics I've gotten recently, they all look pretty good. They all look good. All look great, actually. From the printing standpoint. Like, if you remember a couple weeks back, I really went into Marvel Comics for their shitty printing of Spider-Punk #1. But this one, it has nice quality paper. It's not ridiculously glossy. I can see what's happening. It's fairly flat, but it still has a little bit of shine on it. But it's really nice quality of a print. But anyway, I digress. So what the cool thing is about this Teen Justice #1 is that it's a little oversized, and that is because it prints Teen Justice #1, this new series that they're starting, and their first appearance from like 2 years ago, when it was like I think it was like a DC like holiday special issue that they did like in late 2022. So that was really cool. I did not know that. I wasn't expecting that. I got to the end of the first story, and there's like a page with this version's of Kid Flash, and she or he, I don't know what this version of Kid Flash's story is. So they are like, oh hey, what's up? You're here at the end already. It took you long enough. You know, something silly like that, and then they tell you that they've reprinted, or DC Comics has reprinted their first issue, or their first appearance from that special, and then you get to see their how the Teen Justice was formed, and it was them fighting Starla the Conqueress, or whatever. So that was a fun little addition. I'm quite enjoyed that. That was a nice surprise. But let me get to this, who Teen Justice is. So Teen Justice takes place on Earth 11 in the multiverse of DC Comics, and it entails, or it is made up by Kid Quick, who in like the promotional stuff says like Future State's Flash. I never read Future State. That's not true. I read some Future State books. Shazam, Swamp Thing, what else? Nightwing, I think? A couple others. The Wonder Woman with Yara Flor. I read that one. At least the first issues. But none of them really held my interest. The Yara Flor the most, I guess. But I never stuck with it. So apparently Kid Quick is from the Future State timeline, but I guess they're here in this universe? I don't know what is really going on there. I also don't know what Kid Quick's whole thing is. I assume... Well, I don't know. You know what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me. But based on this solo reading that I've experienced with the character, they are either some sort of, like, non-binary or transgender Flash? Because their face is drawn their face is drawn femininely, in that, you know, they have the like the cheekbone lines and the like real wider lips and like more angular features, but at the same time their body is drawn very square bound and, you know, muscular like they would a normal Flash character. So I don't know. I'm leaning maybe towards transgender, but I do not know. But making up the rest of the team is Clarienne, the witch girl, and her little kitty cat Tickle. Robin, who is what is her name? Is it? Fuck, I can't remember. Her it might be Talia. I think it is Talia, because this version of Robin, of course, comes from Batwoman, and Batwoman had sex with Ali Al Ghul, so I believe it is Talia Al Ghul. I think that is her name, is this Robin. You know, like Damien is, you know, that whole thing. There is Supergirl, whose name is Laura Kent, I believe, and Troy. Troy. I don't know. Let me try that again. And Troy. Troy is Wonder Boy, I guess. Or I think they just sort of call him Troy because, you know, that's already a Greek enough name. But, you know, he's this version's Wonder Girl. He wears, for some reason, he wears like those baggy dancer pants in his costume. But the main reason that I got this story is because it has a version of Clarion the Witch Boy. And that is Clarion, I guess. Clarion? Is that? Yeah, I guess that's how you... Jeez. I guess that's how you would pronounce it. Clarion... Clary? They sort of just call her Clary. K-L-A-R-I. Clarion the Witch Girl. That is why I got this story, is because I really dig Clarion the Witch Boy. I dig his initial appearances in Jack Kirby's The Demon, and I really like him in Grant Morrison's Seven Soldiers. So I decided to pick this up, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to pick up issue 2. I don't know if this is an ongoing or if it's a limited series, little mini-series, or what is going on with this, or if it's just this one issue because it has the Multiversity title on it. I don't know how this is working out. Let me see. Does it say on the cover, like, issue 1 of whatever? Let me see. Oh, shit. I clicked the wrong thing. God damn it. Yeah, so it's 32 pages. Wow. And it is by Marco Fuck. No, wait. This is art by Marco Fila and Fila? And written by Danny Lore and Ivan Cohen. Yeah, so it's the it has like the DC Pride on it because, you know, I guess some of these characters are part of the LGBTQX plus whatever. But it just says number 1. So that doesn't really help me in my question of how often this is going to get published. But it is really fun. It's a fun story. I really dig these characters. They're all very quippy, and they have a really good relationship with each other. I like the team dynamic between all of them. It's clear that, you know, seemingly in their first appearance that happened like a while ago because they look smaller than they do in this book. I don't know if it's supposed to be like, oh, it took place in the past and now this is like in the present day. like, time actually did pass between these 2 years or something. It's possible because it sort of is like established that the Teen Justice team is already in action, but people know who they are, but they're still having issues. I think that's what it is, because there's also Raven in it, but it's like a boy version of Raven who has like a will they won't they relationship with Troy. And it's seemingly Raven joined the team and then left and then came back or something. I don't know if that ever actually happened in any stories, or if that's just, the writers having that bit of, like sort of stuff that happened off-screen exposition for the storyline. That's not really exposition. But this issue is about... it's about the team, it's introducing you to this new team. It's showing their dynamics with one another, and they're trying to... they're fighting Hive, who, if you're unfamiliar, they are the... if you ever saw the Teen Titans cartoon from the original, or from the 2000s, they're those bad guys. And Hive is trying to, steal something from Star Labs, and the teens... Teen Justice is unable to stop some of them. Aqua Girl is really pissed that Robin and Supergirl like sort of split off on their own to try and put a stop to it. She is also the leader of the team, and she looks cool. She kind of looks like Storm from the X-Men. So yeah, it's like, they're trying to... Their team dynamic is faltering, to say the least. And then Raven comes back, and Troy gets all excited because Raven's finally back, and he's like, oh, hey, man, well, if you, you gave me your number, but, like, you never replied to any of my texts, so was that for, like, an emergency thing only, or, it's a fun little scene showing them interacting, and Raven is, like, alluding to darker forces at hand, and we learn that at the end of the story... there is the Church of Blood, is a new religious organization that has opened up in... Oh, what is this city? It's like some weird... I don't think it's Gotham or Metropolis. I don't even know if... I think it might just be like an original creation for this universe. The Church of Blood, which is from the original Teen Titans by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. It is... in essence, it's they worship Trigon, who is Raven's father in the normal universe. So, it's pretty getting iffy here with this Raven as well. And it's led in this universe by Sister Blood, who... Okay, spoilers, obviously. I always spoil stuff on this that I talk about. It is revealed, because, it's all like, oh shit, Church of Blood, they're like fucking Satan, well, not even Satan, they're Trigon demon devil worshippers based out of Phoenix, Arizona. What is going to happen? And it's like, you see a couple of scenes where like they have new recruits. The story opens up very cool, in that we're introduced through this narration to this young woman who's new to the city, and she's like lost, and she's late, and she's like running through the city when she comes across the Teen Justice fighting these fighting the Hive guys, and we're like, oh shit, who is this character? What reinvented character is this? Is this version's this universe's version of Terra? Is it another Titan? Is it Starfire or something? But she's a human for some reason. No, you are just shown this character, and she helps stop this Hive member from shooting this woman who is a scientist called Sharon Stone. She is, this universe's version of Cyborg's dad. So, we might see that in the future if this series continues, or if they ever come back to it. And so, yeah, and then Kid Quick comes up, and they're like, hey, thanks for the help. Are you a superhero? What are you doing? And the girl's like, no, I'm late. Please, can you... I need to get going. I'm sorry. And so Kid Quick gives her a ride. Kid Quick carries her to where she's trying to go, and then runs back to help the others. And after that, we learn that it is the cult church of the Church of Blood. And she stays there the night because she's like homeless, doesn't have a job or anything. I guess she like ran away from home or something. And we're still like, who is this new girl? And they still haven't announced it yet. They still haven't revealed if it's going to be any new character or what. And as the book progresses, we see a little more of the Church of Blood. The girl wakes up the next day after like they have their big banquet for all like the new like initiates or something, like the pledges or new members. And she's like, holy shit, what happened to everybody? And she gets handed this letter like, thank you for joining the church. And she's like, oh, well, I guess everybody must have dipped after the free food in bed. And then at the very end of the issue, Sister Blood is speaking to someone who is working on a large machine. And that person, they tell Sister Blood that all of the like delinquents that failed out of their church have been rounded up and are kept now in the pens and are like shackled and shit. And Sister Blood says, thank you, Kilowog. And she removes her big ceremonial robes, and it is Sinestra of the Green Lantern Corps. So the villains of this book are seemingly Trigon up here, and Sinestra and Kilowog, and maybe some like faction of the Green Lantern Corps working for Trigon, the demon. And that is just the most out there idea. I was agape when I saw that it's fucking Sinestra and like a hot version of Kilowog, who's a woman in this universe as well. Sinestra being Sinestro from the main universe, the pink-skinned, big-headed, mustached alien who eventually tries to destroy the Green Lanterns and forms the Yellow Lantern Corps, played by Mark Strong in the film, if you're unaware. But yeah, apparently they're doing something on Earth, and it involves the Church of Blood and kidnapping people, and they're making some sort of giant machine. So that seems interesting enough to I want to see where this is going. So I'm definitely going to pick out Teen Justice #2, hopefully whenever I can get my hands on it. And that is the end of my comic book reading talk. Now on to some Marvel-related stuff. Marvel Comics specifically. Miracle Man comes to Marvel, as well as Planet of the Apes. So Marvel is getting Miracle Man, finally. I think they've had it, the license for Miracle Man for quite some time, or the trademark to it or whatever, the rights. But they're finally doing something with them. They're reprinting the originals in an omnibus, which I hope I can get. And to my lesser excitement, they are apparently introducing Miracle Man to possibly the wider Marvel universe, which is not something I'm looking forward to. Because Miracle Man just won't work in the regular Marvel universe. But they've released all the variant covers where he's interacting with Marvel characters. So hopefully it's like a continuation of the Neil Gaiman stuff. And if anything, it's like a one-off story where Miracle Man ends up in the Marvel universe and then gets sent back to his own universe. Because I really don't want Miracle Man in the Marvel universe. Yeah, and like I said, in addition to that, they also have Planet of the Apes. For some reason, why? Who gives a shit about Planet of the Apes? Planet of the Apes is going to be released from Marvel in 2023. I don't know who has it now. It might be Dark Horse. It might be Dynamite, possibly. It might be Boom, maybe, I think. I think it might be Boom. But yeah, who gives a shit about Planet of the Apes? The best Planet... I know that there have been a lot of Planet of the Apes comics, a lot of adaptations and shit. But the best Planet of the Apes comic series is going to be Jack Kirby's Kamandi. So I could not care less about Planet of the Apes coming to Marvel. I also could not care less about Miracle Man coming to Marvel, aside from the fact that they are reprinting the original series as an omnibus. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I hope you're excited for Paps. as I call it, as we in the Planet of the Apes community call it, PAPS. Another Marvel Comics related thing is, you might be aware, I talked about it a couple months ago when I read the first issue of What If Miles Morales? And that one was, what if Miles Morales was Captain America? Well, as shown in that first issue, when that version of Miles peers into the multiverse on accident, he sees various Miles Moraleses. One that is Wolverine for some reason. One that is... what else are they? I don't remember. Oh, the Hulk for some reason. And one that is Thor for some reason. They have gotten to that issue of What If Miles Morales. I talked, like I said when I first covered the first issue, I had no interest in it. I thought it was a ridiculously stupid premise that is seemingly only to tie into Spider-Verse 2, which then got delayed for a year. So... there go their plans for this shitty little miniseries. Hey, here's an idea. Let's try and do it with Jessica Jones. But the premise is seemingly... now that I think about it, it's basically the What If TV show, in that we show these different characters, and we eventually end it with a big What If team-up. I haven't read anything. I haven't read the second or third issue or the fourth issue. I've only looked at a couple pages of the fourth issue. As I said, I don't give a shit. But seemingly it's all coalescing into some sort of multiversal threat that all these dumb Miles Moraleses have to face. And this one is What If Miles Morales is Thor. Which, like, even this, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. This is just the dumbest thing they can do. Is like, Miles Morales is Wolverine for some reason. Miles Morales is Spider-Man, obviously. That's something that actually happened. But, like, Miles Morales is Captain America. It has to remove itself so thoroughly from the mainstream universe that it gets too dumb and too weird, and that's not really what If is. What If is like a branch in the timeline, like, oh, hey, what if instead of this day when Miles Morales went left down 45th Street, what if he went right down 45th Street? Like, it's so far disconnected from what If actually is normally is, and what these characters normally are, that it's not very interesting. But what is interesting is the fact that this 40-something-year-old Hispanic man got to write for a black character. And now I don't have an issue with that. I don't have a problem with the fact that this guy isn't black writing a black character. I don't think that's a very, valid criticism, that somebody has to be a certain race to, write their own, write a character. Because then at that point, you're just... if it gets too far like that, then at a certain point, then you segregate the black creators into black characters, and all the other creators into their own racial characters. So I don't have an issue there. What I do have oh my gosh, dog. Jesus, that's snoring. What I do have an issue with is the ridiculous amount of racial stereotypes that are applied to this fucking story. And I might buy it just so I can read more of it. Because it is insane. So here is a panel featuring Miles Morales, who has, tribal tats and Mjolnir on his shoulder for some reason. Miles Morales, by the way, is part Puerto Rican, part black. I'll get onto a little rant here in that I don't personally care for the term African American, specifically for when it's people who, they've been living in America for generations. I understand the historical significance and remembering, the past and everything, and, the heritage aspect of it. But at what point do people go from being African-American to just being American? But that's a whole other topic for another time. So Miles Morales, he looks really weird. He's really big and muscular. I don't know how old he is. The way that he's drawn, he has like the shaved sort of fade line right here, and it kind of makes him look like he has like big fucking like Cro-Magnon like eye ridge, like eyebrow ridges a little bit if you look at it from far away. Like, there you go. If you can see that. And whatever, it's too blurry, who cares? Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about here. His design is alright. Oh god, no it's not. His design is fucking stupid, because he's Thor, he's in Asgard, he's an Asgardian, he's an Aesir. But for some reason he has a hoodie and like the little drawstring thingies, and his fucking, like, is it called a comma? Not like a... this thing, this like robe sort of thing going around his waist. It just looks like a hoodie wrapped around his fucking waist, and he's wearing goddamn tennis shoes. But, okay, here it is. Here's one panel that I saw, and that is Miles saying, "Mjolnir, by Odin's fade, I command you, shield this lost son of Freya from your might as your grace flows through him." Most of that doesn't sound too bad, aside from by Odin's fade. Odin, if I remember correctly, does not have a fade anyway in this book. What were they thinking? What was editorial thinking? Who the fuck was the editor on this book that they thought that this would be a good idea? It's so fucking, oh my god. So, Asgard is a mystical city of magic and wonder, and they're in space. And, you know, if you go by the original Jack Kirby Asgard, it is all, like, sci-fi futurism. And if you go by Walt Simonson's Asgard, it's more Norse mythology focused, like wooden buildings and whatnot and grass fields. But if you go by this version, it's just like the Bronx. It's just fucking buildings, and there's the goddamn, like, Brooklyn Bridge in the background. And, yeah, also, hey, you know, Asgard, it's covered in graffiti, and there's just shoes hanging from the telephone lines. Like, what the fuck? And there's this guy going on, like, a carriage that's just, like, the back half of a car that looks like a lowrider now that I'm looking at it. Oh, my God. That is drawn by a goat. Like, it's literally being pulled by a goat. The people, like, Miles Morales is, like, the only one that has this sort of, like, mystical-looking, outfit in this scene. Everybody else is just wearing fucking Earth clothes. That guy's wearing goddamn, like, a fucking overalls. As he operates his food cart in Asgard. I thought that this would be, like, oh, maybe it's like the Asgardians are living in New York. But I don't think that's the case. Yeah, that is absolutely not the case. Because, you know, I just looked up on some sort of website where you can read comics online for free. I looked up the pages, and it opens up with Miles, like the cover, or like the interior cover is Miles standing on the Bifrost, and the Bifrost is just the Brooklyn Bridge. Also, it literally says in the top corner, Asgard. So that is what Asgard looks like. The redeeming factor I can see is that I really like the Loki design. That looks really cool. He's like wearing a sleek green suit. He has the little helmet. He has a cool beard and hairstyle. But oh my god. So what is it? There's like a bunch of graffiti that I'm just now noticing that has like Sarah Pacelli on here, Elena Aura. So, you know, there's like different like shout-outs on this page for people for some reason. But on this page that I just showed you in the video, here's the captions. I don't know how I'm supposed to read this. I wish I had a backup track for me, like somebody was beatboxing for me. Of all the 5 realms, Asgard is his hood. For miles you can see he's just that good. The Rainbow Bridge takes him to his quest. The Bifrost line goes north, south, east, and west. From Jormungandr to the Wrecking Crew, he's stuck Gullinbursti in the Asgard Zoo. But he is low-key when he wants to be. Name's on the marquee like his Uncle Loki. Odin's son, he's the son of gods and kings. Got so many wins, check out all those rings. He's not wearing any rings in any of the art. He's formerly known as a prince for sure. His subjects and friends, they just call him Thor. Oh my god. Like, props to writing that, but holy shit. Like I said before, could you not, like, could editorial not fix this in any way? This is so ridiculous. Oh yeah, I forgot Loki's his uncle, because, you know, Uncle Aaron is the Prowler, and he's a villain, and Loki is a villain, so obviously his uncle has to be a villain. Also, seemingly from this, I don't know who this character is that I'm looking at. Let me see if they say her name. I don't know if this is supposed to be Sif or what. Yeah, it is Sif, because Miles says, "Yo, Sif," and Sif says, as she flies in with her Falcon-esque attire, like, you know, red and white suit and wings, she says, "Hot wings coming in hot." So, I don't know, like, it's the same character from the Miles Captain America issue, seemingly. Apparently, she's just in every fucking one of these books, because she was Falcon in that one. I can't remember who her character is. But yeah, this is what Marvel has released, and people are... they don't know how to feel, I think. So that is fun. And yeah, so I talked about that way longer than I expected to, and we're already at 50 fucking minutes. Holy shit. I don't think I'm going to get to my Jurassic Park thing. So let's try and speed this shit up. Guy Ritchie has announced, or they've made an announcement that Guy Ritchie will be working on a Hercules live-action film. He is the director of the Aladdin live-action film, among many other films. So I enjoy looking forward to seeing Hercules fight in live action with a chopped-up, speeded-up frame rate. There has been the released promotional photo of Ryan Gosling as Ken in Barbie. So that has made me even more interested in seeing it. Obviously, Margot Robbie had me very interested, but Ryan Gosling as Ken just looks fucking hilarious. I hope that this film ends with, like, it being revealed. Like, I hope everything is just super pink and, like, weird looking. Like, you know, the play sets and shit. Like, we sort of see it in this with, like, the pink house and whatnot. But I hope, like, the whole world is just sort of off, like, weirdly cartoony. But, like, it's played straight. And I really want the film to end with, like, it being revealed that it's just some kids playing with, like, some Barbie dolls. You know, like the Lego movie or something. So, yeah, moving on to more movie stuff. Batman AZTECA Choque de Imperios. Choque de Imperios. I don't know. I didn't look up how to pronounce it. It is in the works from HBO Max. It is about a young Aztec boy who uses the temple of... Xenocon, I guess, who is the bat god of the Aztecs, as a lair to confront the Spaniard invasion and avenge his father's death. So it's Aztec Batman. It seems pretty cool. Oh man, there's more Ezra Miller shit. Oh god, what are they doing? There's been the court restriction order, which Ezra Miller is missing, so they can't serve to them. There's been the news article that came out that says Ezra Miller was, you know, getting weird and making a 12-year-old girl uncomfortable. Or no, I'm sorry. I think, is it a girl? I can't remember. I think it said something about non-gender fluid or something. And the Flash movie prequel cover, which I also have on my cellular telephone. So for the people watching the video, there you go. It is Ezra Miller Flash, like, split second during a fight, naked, and putting on the Flash costume. So that has never seen the light of day. God almighty. Who knows? Aquaman 2, apparently it is official that Amber Heard is going to be replaced, and her character Mara is going to be recut. Which is a shame, because I love Mara, But, I don't know. We'll see what happens with this. Oh, God. Venom 3, the script was shown by Thomas Hardy on Instagram. And there's like a little red line tendril coming off of it, which is toxin. So I do not give a shit about that. Something I do give a shit about, though, is a Wonder Man TV series coming to Disney+. It has been announced that they are in pre-production for a Wonder Man series. It will have Andrew Guest writing and Destin Daniel Cretton set to executive produce and potentially direct. I don't know who either of those people are. All I do know is that I hope Nathan Fillion plays Wonder Man. He was set to play him in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and by that I mean he made some cameo appearances as some movie posters in a flashback as, well, what is Wonder Man's real name? I am completely blanking on it. Oh, fuck. He's an actor named Simon Williams. There you go. So Wonder Man, he initially started out, he was a villain who got coerced into being a villain because, what was it? He had like some sort of, like, he was dying, I believe, and he was like taken by these, was it Zemo? I think it might have been Zemo and someone else. They turned him into a villain. He had this horrible red and green Christmas costume. He fought the Avengers. He like sacrificed himself, or he died or something, trying to, like, you know, turning to the side of good. It's been a while since I've read it, so, you know, I can't really remember it very much. But then he eventually came back, and he dies again, I believe. I think he's died twice or maybe 3 times. His whole thing is that he is terrified of dying because he has seen what happens on the other side. Wonder Man also, while he was dead, was used as the, like, brainwave basis for Vision. So the Vision is, in a way, his son/brother. And that's one of the reasons why the Grim Reaper hates him so much. The Grim Reaper, by the way, who is a fucking racist maniac, who has a giant scythe hand, is Simon Williams' brother. He's like his evil brother that is just, he's a terrible human being. He's super fucking racist. He hates Vision, and that's like, if you ever read the Vision Scarlet Witch series is from the 80s, Grim Reaper is a big part of that, trying to destroy them. Also in the West Coast Avengers series, he appears in there. Simon's on the West Coast Avengers a lot. He's a fun character. I enjoyed him for the most part. I think if they can get the aspect, well, it depends on how they're doing it. If he's already been killed and he's been resurrected at this point, or if he dies like halfway through the show or something. I hope they don't do that, because that's sort of like Moon Knight. I hope it begins with him already having died and come back. Also, he has weird eyes. I really think that you could do a lot with, like, that sort of PTSD aspect of the character. So I am looking forward to that. And, you know, like I said, I hope they get Nathan Fillion, because he was set to, he already, like, sort of played him in the MCU, and that would just be a cool continuation. And give Nathan Fillion something to do. Game of Thrones director Jon Snow gets a, wait, what? So let me try that again. Game of Thrones Jon sequel, fuck! Game of Thrones Jon Snow sequel series is in development at HBO. So if you watched Game of Thrones, hey, here you go. You get a Jon Snow show. I never watched Game of Thrones. That's not true. I watched the first season, and then I just didn't give a shit, and I stopped. I could not get into it. I didn't care for it. I didn't like it. I wasn't a raving mad fan when this show ended, and everybody hated it because it was rushed or whatever. So there you go. Got a Jon Snow show. My next topic, before I get into some more TV show talk about what I've been watching, is that I've been watching Barry. I finally got into Barry, which is a show by Bill Hader, among others, and it is about a hitman who goes to LA to perform a job and realizes that he wants to stop being a hitman and take up acting. And holy shit, it is an incredible show. I'm only on season 1. I've just finished it. but my god, it is. I wish I started watching it sooner. They just recently had the season 3 finale. I hope it continues getting picked up. I'm not sure if it has yet or not. I would assume so, since it's a fucking amazing show. But yeah, I don't want to give away too much. Check it out. If you have HBO Max, it's on there. If not, you can find it on any fucking website online. But Barry, I 100% recommend it. It is fantastic. Now on to some other shows that I have been watching. It started off with The Boys Episode 5. The Boys continues to entertain me and disgust me at the same time. What really happens? Oh yeah, we get to see more of Soldier Boy. I don't know, I don't really have much to say about The Boys, just because... I don't know, I feel like, I don't know, I just don't have a lot of talking points. We see more Soldier Boy. The Soldier Boy is seemingly teaming up with the boys themselves. The Kimiko Frenchie hospital scene was just fucking heartbreaking. I was so excited when she, like, looks over at him and, like, whispers out, like, some words, because, you know, she's a mute and she's finally speaking. And then I was like, holy shit, oh my god, she's gonna start talking. She can finally, like, she's gonna learn how to speak. And then Frenchie gets real excited and it bursts out into, like, a song and dance number, which was incredible. I loved that scene. What I thought was going to happen is that, like, she did speak, but the song and dance number was going to be, like, in her head. But no. Even her saying one tiny little word in a whisper was all, like, in her imagination, which was so fucking depressing. Oh my god. But yeah, that was really, that was a great little sequence with her and Frenchie doing the dance and song number. I hope Frenchie gets out of his whole predicament okay, because he's basically alone in the world. He has to go fucking assassinate some guy and his kids, because that fucking Russian bitch just can't leave well enough alone. What else happens? Oh my god, fucking Blue Hawk was just, oh my god, that was so awful. Jesus Christ. Just every fucking, like, far-right, hate-spewing speech just combined into one person, and that is Blue Hawk. I like that after he fucking just attacks these black people, then he goes onto the news and he's like, yeah, I had to put down an Antifa rally that was going on. I'm like, oh my god, just what a fucking piece of shit. I hope A-Train murders him. Yeah, I'm looking forward to episode 6 the most, which is Hero-gasm. Which is, it is such a fucking great name. Hero-gasm. Because, you know, it's all one word, so it just spills into one another, like the superheroes do at Hero-gasm. If you don't know, from the comics, Hero-gasm was this, like, giant retreat, like, sex island that all the heroes went to during their big crossover event team-up. You know, like, it's like Crisis on Infinite Earths, like, oh my god, or it's like, the Infinity Gauntlet, where all the heroes have to leave and go to space. But in this version, the heroes say they're leaving to go battle some world-ending threat, but in reality, they just go spend a couple weeks in this island of pure debauchery. Oh my god, it's gonna be insane. I cannot wait. I wonder how it's gonna come into play, though, because, like, are the boys gonna sneak into it? Or are we just going to be following heroes as they go to it? Because, like, everything's sort of, like, split apart. Like, there's not a whole lot of interaction or overlapping going on currently. Also, I wonder what Soldier Boy is going to have to say about this, like, you know, the new era of superheroes. Because, like, I wonder how fucked up they were in the, like, the 40s through the 80s. But, like, imagine how... They're probably pretty fucked up, but I'm going to say they're even more fucked up in the present version. So that's going to be an interesting interaction. I really like Soldier Boy. Jensen Ackles is doing a good job with that character. Far better than the comics, you know, like everything that The Boys is doing. The whole show is better than the comics. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let me know your thoughts. I do not know if I'm going to be getting to my Jurassic Park talk. I'll talk about that at the end if I don't. Obert-Wan Benobi, Episode 5, the penultimate episode. Like usual, I'm just going to go down my list of talking points. I enjoyed this episode as well. The flashback was really cool. Anakin did look weird for a second, like when he first turns around, like that wide shot, I think it is, when he turns around and it's, Hayden Christian de-aged. That did look weird because there were too many wrinkles on his face, but after that it looked good. I had no issue with it after his introduction scene, that one shot, and then when it started cutting back and forth, I thought it looked fine. It looked great. I had no issue with it aside from when he was first shown, and it did make me tear up. That seeing young Anakin and Obi-Wan back on Coruscant, and everything is nice and bright and shiny and everybody has hope in the world, it did make me tear up a little bit. I like that the third sister gets a little promotion button on her lapel. That was silly. I got excited because I thought that the trash planet that Ice Cube's son lives on is the same one that Darth Maul lived on. But nope, they're completely different trash planets, which makes sense. That people would just dump their trash on a bunch of different planets. Because that's what we do here. We just dump our trash in different places of the Earth. And sadly enough, I do have a note here saying that the show is finally picking up. Which is a bit sad because it's the second to last episode. Kumail Nanjiani, that was a nice little cameo appearance by him again. He fucking had to get the hell out of there, so obviously he would come here, which is, sort of where he's been sending people to. Not directly. I saw a lot of people like, why is Kumail there? Why did he show up? Because he's been sending people here. That he's the reason Obi-Wan and Leia are here. It's just he doesn't send people to this planet and, station directly, so it would make sense that he'd know about it and know how to get there. Reva reminds me of Kylo Ren in her just pure anger and fucking hate and just being an angry, shitty person. And this whole episode just felt like The Last Jedi. Even down to where the Empire is all lined up outside. It's like a microcosm version of The Last Jedi when they're on the Salt planet. Salt. Remember that great scene? Oh, fuck, I hit the table. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see people complain about not enough people being shot due to the ridiculously close proximity of the characters. They're, 15 feet apart, and they're just unloading on each other with lasers. Speaking of deaths, I felt more for the droid, which is apparently named Ned B., than I did for Tala. It was sadder seeing that droid die, sacrificing its little robot life, than it was for Tala to die. I didn't really care about Tala that much. I figured she was gonna croak. What else? Oh, yeah. I don't like Reva wanting to kill Vader. I don't like that. I don't care for that. I didn't think that was very interesting or cool. I wish that... I feel it would have been better if she was on Vader's side. Because like I've said before when I've discussed this, Reva going from that little Padawan, who she is, to an Inquisitor just sort of shows the demented torture and hatred that the Empire has. So, it's sort of... It undoes it to show that, oh, no, she's still a person. She hates Darth Vader. She's not a true believer. I don't want to liken it to the Nazis too much, even though that's clearly what it's based off of. Well, I should, because, fucking there's plenty of stories about, Nazi officers who, the guys who go door to door doing shit, the ones who used to be, post office workers and, fucking office, managers who have now been elevated to the role of this power being given to them, of, a Nazi officer who can, deem someone to life or death. Obviously, that's not what Reva. That's not like related to her backstory because she was a Padawan in the Jedi Order, and she somehow became an Inquisitor, which they never really specified on how that happened. I don't like that Anakin just left her for dead. I don't like that. I don't understand how that worked either. Did he just like slash her a little bit? Did he graze her with his lightsaber? What happened there? Because he knows who she is. She knows who he is somehow. I guess you can just say that that's the Force. Like, she can feel it's the same presence that killed her friends that she is now working for. So yeah, I didn't like that. Didn't like that part. What I did like is how Obi-Wan pits Reva and Vader against one another, and he uses her weakness, being hatred and vengeance, against her. I like that, when he gives himself up, and for some fucking reason, she's dumb enough to send him back inside. Which, the only reason that happens is so Obi-Wan can escape on the shuttle and not have another interaction with Darth Vader. That was just so stupid. Why didn't you just leave him outside with you and the other stormtroopers? Speaking of that transport shuttle, that thing took off way too fast. That looked weird. Like, we never see a ship in Star Wars that big, whoosh, just fucking take off like that. It was cool seeing Vader grab onto it with the Force and crash it down to the Earth. What else do I have to say here, really? I think that's about it. Aside from, just Reva, I like the duel between, well, if you can call it a duel, the one-sided fight between Reva and Vader was awesome. I really dug that. I just fucking wish Reva was dead, though. How many times is she gonna get stabbed and keep living? I know it's happened plenty of times before in Star Wars, but goddamn. I hope what happens is that she follows Obi-Wan to Tatooine, or like she goes to Tatooine and beats Obi-Wan there, and like he finds her, but oh god, I don't want her to show up at the Lars homestead and have her presence known. If anything, just do what they did for Darth Maul, which is Darth Maul. If you haven't seen Star Wars Rebels, watch it. It's a great show. Darth Maul, he is on the hunt for Obi-Wan in that version. He's not looking for Luke. But he is on the hunt for Obi-Wan, so he goes to Tatooine, and he finds Obi-Wan camped out sort of near where the Lars homestead is, because Ezra, the main character of Star Wars Rebels, was also trying to find Obi-Wan, and he got lost in the desert and was like dying until Obi-Wan found him. But anyway, Darth Maul shows up as Ezra and Obi-Wan are camping out, and Obi-Wan sends Ezra and his robot droid Chopper off into the darkness to like go back to their ship or whatever. He's like, "Get out of here, Ezra, go." And then it's this beautiful scene. It's just in silence of Obi-Wan facing down with Darth Maul. And what happens is there's no extravagant fight. There's no big thing that happens. Darth Maul tries to just do the same attack that he did on Qui-Gon, but Obi-Wan doesn't let him. And Obi-Wan quickly kills him. And then he just buries Darth Maul's body in the middle of the desert. So I hope what happens is that Reva, is, after she's been stabbed, she is just trudging through the desert trying to fucking get to this little kid on the Lars homestead or whatever, however she fucking finds it. And like she's going, and then she dies before she can get there. That's what I would do. That's my fucking pie in the sky dream for how this ends. Is maybe she has a confrontation with Obi-Wan. Like Obi-Wan appears, he's already on Tatooine. He gets there before she does because he hasn't been stabbed by a lightsaber, and he like stands in her way, and she like fucking whoosh turns on her lightsaber. And they're about to like go head to head. Obi-Wan tells her not to, and she screams, and she tries to go at him, and then she just tumbles to the ground because she's dying. And, you know, she dies in his arms, maybe, is what I'm hoping for. Which just adds to a long list of people that Obi-Wan has had to watch die at the hands of evil. Because it would be Qui-Gon, it's Padme, it's fucking however many Padawans he had to watch die, who even if like he wasn't there personally. It's Anakin. It would be Reva, Darth Maul, just fucking Satine, just so many people in Obi-Wan's life that have been corrupted or destroyed by evil that he just has to watch die again. And that's how I hope it ends. The episode comes out this week that you're watching this, so I'll be discussing it next week, so check it out then. But yeah, let's get on to Miss Marvel Episode 2. Miss Marvel Episode 2 is incredible. I love this show. I enjoyed it a lot. My only issue with this episode is that the dialogue seemed weirdly low for some reason. I kept having to turn up the volume just because I couldn't hear what the characters were saying. This is, I will say it, this is now my favorite Disney Plus Marvel show so far. It is so much fun. It's cute and stylish and has great characters. Like I've said when I talked about the first episode, I really fucking dig it. I really like this show. It is just heaps of fun. Kamran, the sort of love interest for Kamala, shows up. And I like that when he first appears, the song has it plays Bad Boy. That's the lyrics that the song has. I don't know what song it is, but whoever does the vocals, as soon as he appears on screen, you hear Bad Boy playing the song. So that was cool, because as we learn, or as we will learn, is that Kamran's mother is the villain of the show. Assuming that those leaks and rumors that I read months ago are correct, or a couple weeks ago, whatever, are correct. I really like the montage. Kamran is cool. He's a nice guy, but, you know, I believe that Kamala belongs with Brian. Why the... It's been about a week since I watched the show, and I don't remember this, but why do I... Oh, wait, no, fuck. That's right. I'm reading Ronettes' dance scene, which is... The Ronettes were a musical group from the 60s. They're the ones... It's the song that plays when Kamala... Oh, my God. I love this. I love this show so much. I love Iman Vellani. She is incredible. It's when she comes home and she's dancing through the house because she's in love. But what I was reading this as was the Rockettes. And if you don't know who the Rockettes were, they're the dance troupe of women who, like, they're the kick line dancers. You know, they do the high kicks in the air. So that's why I was confused for a bit. Hard Light is continues to not ail me in any way. I don't really care that much that they've changed her powers. Is it dumb? Yes. Will it hopefully be fixed at the end of this series? Hopefully. Hopefully she does turn into an Inhuman and get her embiggening powers. Or else I imagine Iman is texting Kevin Feige a lot, asking him why not. But yeah, the Hard Light, it's a good analogy for acne, because, you know, it appears on her nose and she starts freaking out about it during class. Or more bluntly, like getting a period? I don't know. I feel like it's might be a little kinder to say that it's an analogy for, like, sort of acne and, like, you know, growing up and puberty and whatnot. I don't think period would really be the best part of it, just because, you know, that happens at a younger age, and Kamala is supposed to be like 15 or 16. But that's a fun little, you know, this show and Turning Red sort of have quite a few similarities, I imagine, if you really looked into it far enough. For some reason, Bruno was dressed like Marty McFly. I don't know what that was about. I guess they were just having fun with it. But yeah, he was dressed almost exactly like Marty McFly. Maybe it's like, because he's an inventor, he's like Marty McFly meets Doc, all wrapped into one. Kamala's brother at the restaurant and her whole family are so great. I love how little he believes in their lie, and then he decides just to play into it and play along with it and starts fucking with them. Her whole family are just perfectly cast, great characters, perfectly written. I love them. The Trail of Stars story was cool. So, that's an allusion to these powers being in Kamala's bloodline. Maybe we'll see more of her, like, great-grandmother or her grandmother, whoever, I think it's great-grandmother, in the future. Because Kamala's getting these flashes of her, so, we might find out what that's all about. She might lead her through some sort of mystical journey. And I just realized in this episode that the Department of Damage Control guy is the same guy from No Way Home that interrogates Peter Parker and the others. So what is with this agent and this organization interrogating children without their parent or guardians being present? Is that just not a thing in the MCU? Kamala does a little superhero landing, so that's fun that she's, she, over the course of this series, I imagine she's going to progressively get more and more into the superhero facet of her identity. And speaking of damage control, the drone that was following her is one of those repurposed Stark drones from Far From Home. So that's interesting that, it makes sense since they, absconded isn't the right word. They obtained, or, I don't know what the word is. I can't think of it. Damage Control attained all of Stark Industries' assets, seemingly, and now they've repurposed at least the drones for their own organization. So that was a cool little bit of world building that we got to see. Because, there's not too much overlay between the Spider-Man films and what happens in them and the MCU now. Nobody really talks about Mysterio outside of Spider-Man because of the whole Sony thing. But it's cool that, we see, because it's Iron Man adjacent and related, so they can do it with a little more ease. But it is still cool to have this, like, build-up going through. I think in... well, no, I can't remember. I know in Hawkeye they make note of the Statue of Liberty's reconstruction or, like, renovations to have the new Captain America shield that we see in No Way Home. What came out after No Way Home? I can't remember. I don't think anything really makes note of the destruction of the Statue of Liberty after that so far. It's just sort of been a thing that happened during December, and now it's gone. Or now it's been there, done that. So that was cool. I'm greatly looking forward to checking this show out. Episode 3. I don't know if you're aware of this, but everybody and their goddamn grandmother has to fucking point out that, oh, did you know that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Miss Marvel Episode 3 and Obi-Wan Kenobi, the finale, they all come out on the same day? Like, oh my god, what the fuck? Get over yourselves. We know. You don't have to fucking point this out. Rob from Comics Explained is who I've seen specifically doing it. That's one of the many people that I've seen fucking just say that over and over again. I'm done. This is the end of the episode, by the way. I'm not going to get to my Jurassic Park thing. My Jurassic Park thing was, I was just going to talk about my history with Jurassic Park because Jurassic World Dominion came out, but who gives a shit about that movie? My history with Jurassic Park as a rundown for what I was going to talk about was my fascination with the movies. I love the movies. The first Jurassic Park was the first movie I ever got from Netflix when they still mailed out DVD discs, and I kept it for like a year because I'm sure many of you are unaware of how Netflix used to work, and that is you would get the mail order discs, in the mail, and you could keep them for however long you wanted to. There was no limitation. There was no due date on how long or when you had to return a disc. So you could just keep it forever if you wanted to. Somebody could have gotten a Netflix disc in 2006 and still have it in their possession. So I was going to talk about that. When I was a child, like I said, I was obsessed with Jurassic Park, so much so that I would write my own little fan fiction and like for Jurassic Park 4, and I wanted to direct Jurassic Park 4. That was like my dream ambition. I've talked about it before. I wanted to be a director, and I wanted to direct a Jurassic Park movie. And that was really about it. Just some more stuff about, my experiences with Jurassic Park, my fascination with it, and like the games and the media and whatnot. That's what I was going to talk about, but that doesn't really seem like that big of a topic to really discuss, especially since Jurassic World came out a couple weeks ago and it's already late anyway. But yeah, back to the Miss Marvel stuff. It's, I was just complaining about how everybody had to, for some reason, point out that all three of those things came out on the same day. I don't get it. But yeah, that is the end of this episode at an hour and a half into it. Let me know what you thought of the show in the episode comments below. Again, as always, check it out on Podbean and Spotify. I don't have Apple Podcasts because I hate Apple, and it's just such a fucking pain in the ass to set up. So, these are really the only couple places that you can find it. Let me know what you thought of any of the topics I discussed in the comments below. What do you think about any new comics that came out? What have you been reading? What are you going to read to steal from a far more successful podcast? What else did I talk about? Are you excited for Wonder Man? What did you think about Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 5 and Miss Marvel Episode 2? As always, I am late on these Disney Plus releases, so try and keep the spoilers to the episodes that I've been talking about. So episode 1 and 2 and episode 1 through 5 for Obi-Wan and the boys. Just in case people also haven't had a chance to check it out or something. Save that for next week if you want to, whatever. Or if you do talk about it, because I will have seen it by the time this episode comes out. Just, don't write it outright. Hit enter for a couple lines and then say like, oh, spoilers for whatever episode. Try and give some people some warning. As always, follow me on Instagram at NotBlakeWild and at Smokey's Videos to just follow me on there for my art and stuff. Destructo Boy issue number 1, Heir of Alpha Cardinal, part 1 of 2 is on sale. Again, Etsy.com/shop/BlakeTWild. Every physical copy does come with a free head sketch. Issue 2 is coming very soon. And yeah, that is the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next week. Hopefully, oh god, I don't have a day off from work until like sometime next month. So fuck. Hopefully I can get more work done on the What Is episode on Crisis on Infinite Earths, just because I really want to get that done so I can get to the next video, which is another big event. So yeah, I'm working towards that. Sorry it's been delayed. I'm having issues with getting Fast and the Fermented Episode 2 up. Fucking Universal are being goddamn pieces of shit and copywriting it. So I couldn't release it initially, so now I gotta try and re-upload it after I edited it some bits. Because they're just fucking goddamn pieces of shit. But yeah, so stay tuned for all that. I will see you next week. Bye!